All right, today's session takes a slightly unconventional turn. We're going to look at some rather unusual incidents. Now, these stories may seem straight out of a dark comedy or an over the top crime novel, but each one highlights the unpredictable and sometimes bizarre nature of human behavior and circumstance. As we go through these tales, keep in mind that while they might prompt a chuckle or a head shake, there's often a surprising twist or lesson tucked within. Debbie Mills, 99, from New Broughton, was killed while crossing the road. She would have turned 100 the next day, but as she crossed the road with her daughter on her way to her birthday party, her wheelchair was hit by a lorry delivering her birthday cake. Peter Stone, 42, was murdered by his 8-year-old daughter, who he had just sent to her room without dinner. Young Samantha Stone decided that if she couldn't have dinner, no one else would either. So she quickly slipped 72 rat poison tablets into her dad's coffee while he was cooking dinner. The victim took one sip and died instantly. Samantha Stone was given a suspended sentence after the judge found she didn't realize what she was doing, until she tried to poison her mother in the same way a month later. David Dannell, 17, was killed by his girlfriend after he attempted to make love to her. His unwelcome advances were met with a double-barreled shotgun. Carla's girlfriend's father gave her the gun an hour before the date, just in case. Javier Hallows, 27, was killed by his landlord for not paying rent for 8 years. The landlord, Kirk Weston, beat the victim to death with a toilet seat after realizing how long it had been since Mr. Hallows had last paid his rent. Megan Fry, 44, was killed by 14 state troopers after she wandered into a simulated live-fire training facility at a specially built city precinct. When Megan Fry saw the officers walking slowly down the street, she jumped out in front of them and yelled, "Boo!" The patrolman, thinking it was a target that suddenly appeared, fired 67 shots, more than 40 of which hit the target. "She just looked like a very realistic target," one of the patrolmen testified. Julia Smith, 20, was killed by her brother Michael for staying on the phone too long. Michael beat his sister to death with a cordless phone, then stabbed her several times with the broken antenna. Helena Sims, the wife of the famous American nuclear physicist Harold Sims, was killed by her husband after she cheated on him with a neighbor. For 3 months, Harold replaced Helena's eyeshadow with a highly radioactive uranium composite until she died from radiation exposure. Despite suffering from many radiation sickness symptoms, including total baldness, skin ulcers, blindness, severe nausea, and even losing an earlobe, Helena never sought medical attention. Army Sergeant John Joe Winter killed his unfaithful wife by loading the trunk of her car with explosive material. The Ford Taurus she was driving was filled with 1,600 pounds of the explosive, creating a force twice the size of the Oklahoma City bombing. Some people heard the blast as far away as 9 miles away. There was no trace of the car or the victim, only a 180-foot deep crater and 1,600 feet of missing road. Patty Winter, 35, was killed by a neighbor early Sunday morning. Her neighbor, Flat Heim, had kept an F-4 Phantom jet engine in his backyard for years. He would occasionally fire up the jet engine, aimed at the empty lot behind his house. Patty Winter would constantly complain to the local police station about the noise and potential fire hazard. Mr. Heim received a notice from the police that he was to remove the engine immediately. He was not happy about this and invited Miss Torward to Winter for a cup of coffee to discuss the situation. What Winter didn't know was that he had changed the engine's position. And when she walked into the yard, he fired the engine, hitting her with a shock wave of 5,000 degrees Celsius, killing her instantly and permanently, imprinting her outline into the driveway. And so, as we wrap up this series of strange and darkly humorous tales, perhaps we're reminded that truth is indeed sometimes stranger than fiction. Whether these stories spark disbelief, laughter, or even a bit of horror, they certainly underscore how unpredictable life can be. In a world filled with countless choices and unforeseen consequences, these stories serve as an exaggerated reminder of how little control we often have over the twists and turns of fate.